everybody, this is Tanya from Tango Business Coaching, and we are on day 17 of our 30-day leadership challenge. And today we are talking about creating team alignment. So, the effectiveness of a team is really dependent upon the level of alignment that there is, and of course, how the team works together toward a common goal. When there's misalignment on a team, that can lead to all kinds of issues in the workplace, including disagreement about priorities, how things need to be accomplished, or even what should be accomplished. Of course, that leads to frustration and disengagement and conflict on the team. And I would say that in my experience, one of the most common areas of frustration for employees is not clearly understanding their roles, the expectations of the roles, the boundaries around the roles, like in terms of where decisions get made or not made, right? And more importantly, how this role and how they as an individual fit into the greater good of the team and of the company. So, creating alignment is a regular and consistent job of the leader. So, I don't know if you're sensing a theme at all over the last few videos, but really, the theme has been that the success of a leader is based on regular and consistent behaviors versus these giant one offs. So, the more that you can create these daily habitual practices around all these various topics, the more successful a leader is going to be in terms of gaining followership and building the team and all of that. So, bit of a theme happening here, right? So you may be thinking on this topic, but wait a minute, I do this every year. I have a meeting and I have this strategy meeting, and we talk about our goals for the upcoming year, both from a team perspective and also from a company perspective. Sometimes I do this quarterly, and that is great. And we need to be doing that. And we need to be doing more than that, right? Because the time between those meetings, even if you're doing them quarterly, that is such a gap where things can start going sideways and other priorities can come in from the side. And you might not even realize what's happening if you're only meeting on a quarterly and, God forbid, an annual basis, right? So misalignment can happen really, really quickly. So, if you want to build a long term and sustainable team who is consistently meeting their goals and objectives and all of the deliverables, alignment is really necessary, and it's a necessary requirement the leader needs to be doing on a very regular and consistent basis. So, here are some ideas that I have around building alignment practices into your regular routine in addition to your regular, whether they're quarterly or annual strategy planning sessions. So, in addition to that, these are some things that you could be doing on a regular basis. So, use your meetings. This topic should be a regular agenda item. So if you have weekly meetings with your team or maybe bi-weekly meetings with your team, that is a great time to be reviewing all of the deliverables that are associated with some of these common goals that you might have as a team and as an organization. And when you're in those sessions, like some really great questions to ask, like how are we progressing against what we anticipated we'd be progressing? How is it matching up against our deliverables and milestones and implementation plan? Um, what are the wins? And why do we have those wins? What are the things that are getting in our way? What obstacles are in place? And why are those things in place? Do we need to pivot for some reason? And if so, what and how? Do we need to gain support in any way? Do we need resources, funding, something like that? And really just regularly asking these questions. So, this rigorous review process built into a regular meeting cycle will keep this team on target. It will keep them aligned. And more importantly, if you find that something isn't quite happening, you'll learn pretty quickly when things are out of alignment. And if so, you as the leader can then step in a really timely manner and adjust as necessary and get the team realigned. So that's the first one, use your meetings. The second one is pay attention to the things in the meeting that are not being said. So this is using some of your, your EQ muscles on this one, right? Are there backdoor conversations happening? Are there alignment meetings happening outside of the meeting? Do you sense that there's some kind of frustration maybe in the room or some sort of negative energy? Are there alliances? Are you noticing alliances on the team? Any kind of strange or odd behaviors that are different to what is kind of normal on your team? Pay attention to these things. There could be, there may not be, but there could be something going on here that needs to be addressed. And of course, in these circumstances, because you're using sort of your gut instinct on this one and your EQ muscles, you need to be the one that steps in and asks the question, calls it out, right? If you notice it, if you sense it, if it's appropriate to call it out in the meeting, or if it's appropriate to, deal with it on the side, the sooner you deal with it and pay attention to that instinct, likely the better for everyone. There's probably something going on. It may not necessarily be with an alignment issue. It could be something completely different. But usually, if you're picking up on that sense, there's something to pay attention to there. So pay attention, ask the question, call it out, have courage around this one. The third one is if there's obvious misalignment, obviously do something about that, right? So that's, you know, conflict, like ongoing conflict, poor behavior, unhelpful behaviors. Obviously, if things become abusive in any way with words or language, or God forbid anything worse, you need to deal with that, right? That needs to be nipped in the bud. That is a clear sign of misalignment. So I know that those can be really awkward conversations, but avoiding it is only going to make it fester. And then over time, it actually becomes far worse. It is usually very unlikely when things are already poor that it will get better on its own. It usually doesn't. So you do need to step in, get people realigned, find out what's going on, deal with the issue, and get them realigned. Okay, and then the fourth idea is, I guess I should do this. Fourth idea is that just knowing that alignment is not necessarily about consensus. We don't need everybody on the team in full agreement. We want to actually have some positive conflict. We want them to debate things. We want them to feel comfortable because we've built psychological safety, right? A couple videos ago. We want them to feel comfortable having those kinds of debates. And at some point, there needs to be a decision, agreement or not, on what the best way forward is to move a milestone forward, or a project, or a goal, whatever it is. And your job as the leader is to help them understand why those decisions are being made and providing clarity on the goal. So not necessarily agreement, but oftentimes people will say, look, I would prefer it be this way, but I understand why we're making the decision we're making, and I'm getting behind it 100%. So again, getting people behind it, whether it's an agreement or not, right? So those are some ideas. This is a bit of a tougher one because it requires building in a practice. But for today, the challenge is going to be for you to decide what you need to do differently to build alignment on your team. Do a quick assessment, like, how are they today? What are we doing today? Am I just doing the annual or quarterly meetings? What could I be doing differently? Do I hold regular weekly or biweekly meetings where I could bring this in as a small agenda item? Start small and then build it out from there. So think about what else you can do. Check in with your team. I'm all about getting feedback from the team. Ask them, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like you fully understand your role? Are you fully clear about the direction that we're going? Do you understand the goals and how you fit into the greater good of this team and the organization? Check in with them, ask them, see what they say. So good luck on this one. This is a bit of a bigger one. Obviously, here to chat if you want to talk this one through. Let me know how you're doing. Write me separately, write it in the comments, whatever works for you. And if you need that 30-day challenge tracker, let me know. Happy to send that over to you. So good luck and have a great day. And I will see you all here tomorrow. Bye.